Good afternoon. I just got back from Serccc and Funky Bunch. Pretty much a test day today for us. It was very quiet. Only had about 12 people turn up, but it was good. Didn't need to do anything to the track at all. It was a little bit dusty, but not to the point where we had to take the blowers down and do a complete clean-up. It was brilliant. Very good. No hassles at all. No leaves. Just chuck the car on and drive, basically. So a lot of people came down, not a lot, a few people came down, put the cars on track, play around with setups to try and get them going and all that type of stuff. It was good, relaxed, easy day. Everyone was happy with what they achieved for the day, including myself, because I thought I'd do a bit more testing on the good old FFV4. Okay, a couple of things that I wanted to try out from recommendations from Larry, inspiration from Andrew Bird in the UK, some suggestions from Paul Sims, and some reading up on bits and pieces, because it's the first foray into front-wheel drive that I'm basically throwing myself into, and I don't know a lot about it compared to the established guys out there that have been running the class for the last maybe 2 and a bit, 3 years, whatever it may be. First of all, I'd like to speak about the body. The body is nothing special. It is the Mark 1 Civic out of Blitz. It does the job nicely. I added just the option wing on it, just to give it a bit more. I thought there was someone out there shouting at me. A little bit more downforce on the rear compared to the standard one that comes in the kit. That made it a little bit better. Not much, but a little bit better. Standard body, nothing special. The Mark 2 is going to go on next week. That's another body I've got coming in apart from others. I like the look of it. The Mark 2 apparently is lower by about 1 centimetre, 10 millimetres, so it'd have less weight so high, which will actually help the car not have to roll as much and be a bit quicker through the corners. So this is a little bit slower out of the corners because it is such a high body, so it tends to want to roll a lot, and you can if you wanted to, but to play a lot with the suspension to take away the rolling negates a lot of the changes that you do depending on the other bodies that you put onto it. Good thing about it is the car setup, not a lot of deterioration on the tyres, both front and rear. It was pretty equal. That's the amount of crap that I've got on the rear, and that's the amount of crap I've got, sorry, on the front I should say, and that's the amount of crap I have on the rear, which is a sweet F8, nice wear on the tyres. Dual rates on the radio was 44 to 51, depending on what time of day I actually drove the car. So that came out really good. But the best part about it, and I'm so stoked, and the people that were at the track today that witnessed me piloting this beast around the track said how flat, how nice it looked. Flowy every corner, hairpins were good, acceleration, braking the lot. It was fantastic. I cannot state, and I do this quite a fair few times, cannot state how good the car was. That's the chassis. At the end of the day, very little accumulation of dust and crap on it because the track was actually pretty good. This, with some inspiration, as I said, from Larry Chu, Andrew Bird gave me some suggestions. Paul Sims with ideas on basically tweaks and setups and an inclusion of one extra item and some stuff that I read up to lock in the rear end more than anything else and then make the car drivable and still have plenty of steering without it losing the steering and or making it way too taily. It came out of the track today absolutely brilliant. First of all, no goop at all, just raw tyres onto the track, and the ones that I'm using are the Team Powers 35, both front and rear, not softer, they're equal. 34, 35s, I can't remember, FFVs. The oil in the shocks at the front with gold springs, 21.5mm long gold springs, was 575 standard kit shock and piston. Did not touch that, just put that in. Rear shock the same, 575 CST, which is AE, I think 42 or 47.5 AE. Left it really heavily dampened, which made the car so nice to drive. Again, rear shock is standard length, 21.5mm rear spring, because they are the longer shock. The fronts, I inclined them down one hole instead of so upright as what they come out of the box. So one hole in, 575 gold springs, standard kit pistons. I think they're 3 from memory, whatever they come with. Differential, pardon me, I got something in my eyeball. There you go, cleaned out. Differential was 200,000 K. Big difference to the 30K that I tried about 5 days ago. Diabolical to drive. The 200,000, 200K, 200,000, absolutely brilliant, brilliant. Mind you, I'm going to try 300,000, one step up, just to get a bit more stability on a looser surface. Today was sort of low medium. It wasn't high grip at all. It was low medium, so you had to actually find a very good balanced setup to get the car around the track. Some people were having problems with cars oversteering and understeering and all that type of stuff. It came down to setup on the chassis, whether it be this or the four-wheel drives or otherwise. 200,000 K on the front. Everything else other than that is box stock standard, pardon me, on the chassis. The only 2 inclusions I put onto the chassis for my benefit, and considering that there are diabolical situations if anything does happen, what I did is I put the racing A-arm sets on the front, locks in the front end, so there's less chance of it being reefed backwards if you tend to hit the wheel on something like a piece of wood or whatever it is. So put the racing A-arms on, and on the rear, from inspiration from Mr. Bird, and basically a conversation with and modification by young Paul Sims, a new flipper. There's another one I'm going to test out as well on top of this one, which is different again, but this flipper is identical as the standard one. The difference is we cut down past the shock and then made a larger hole rebate there or relief to take away any possibility of any splits happening on the actual flipper past that point if it is just a straight cut. So that just takes away and it releases the stress on the actual carbon at that point and gives it a bit more flex internally that way. All right, that worked so nicely. And the weights at the bottom and these flip down on the bottom was a suggestion from Larry Chu in California. I think it's California. Did that from the suggestion of Mr. Larry to get the car at the weight, because the car's grossly underweight. Did that suggestion from Mr. Chu, that from inspiration from Mr. Andrew Bird, and weights just underneath here, just behind the actual servo, there's weights there that run all the way through. Now the car's just a little bit underweight, but it's good, so it's just a little bit, not too much. Other than that, chuck the car on. As I said, no goop, no heat, no nothing. 35, chucked it on the track to see what it was going to do. I was going to swear there for a second. I won't. Bloody brilliant. Brilliant. 2 laps just to get the tyres bedded in with a little bit of heat. Because it was cold. It was only 15 degrees on the actual track itself. But the sun was nice. It was about 20 up to 23 degrees. Track was still cold. But absolutely brilliant from the start after the 2 laps, just to sort of get the tyres bedded in a bit. Brilliant rotation, pull through corners, into corners, everything was absolutely fantastic. Now how I drive and how I set up a car is to make it pliable, that you can drive the car instead of point shoot brake, that type of arrangement. I set up so it's very supple, but you drive on trigger to dictate how much turn you have in and out of a corner. Touch the brake to get it into a corner, drops the nose a little bit, but pull the trigger. No slap, all that type of stuff, or heavy brakes. To give you an idea, steering was anywhere between 44 and 51 depending on the time of day. And I had about 3 runs on the car, one in the morning, one in mid-morning, one in late morning. And the brakes are only set at 88 to 90, so it didn't lock up the wheel, but allowed the car to come into the corner, still moving, without it locking up and ploughing forward, or the arse end swinging out on itself. So just before a corner, I tap the brake and come straight back on the throttle to drive the car around the corner so it does not slow down. It was brilliant. I can't state it enough. The car was brilliant. Next time out, as I said, it'll be 300k, 300,000 on the front diff to lock up the front end a little bit more than what it is at the moment, only for really low grip track that I know, and I'll be going to another surface where it is really, really low grip. So that should make the car even more planted for the low grip. Because as it stands at the moment, Serccc is a low to medium grip track at this stage. Not very dusty, but it wasn't washed down or blown down today. So, and it worked a treat. So happy with how the chassis is turning out with the little changes that I've done. But as I said, the two biggest changes: split flipper on the rear, available from me from Monday onwards. There's two versions of those. I'll show the other version, which is a take on something completely different, but it depends on what you want to try. And obviously the air racing arms, which is definitely something I'd recommend to lock up the front end a lot more, to make it a lot more stable. Oh, and whatever comes in the kit, you put your standard stuff in, but I've got the chassis savers below here, which is a 1/2 mil spacer between the actual ball stud on the suspension and the chassis, so it drops the chassis literally 1/2 mil. Fantastic. Can't comment enough. Gave two other guys a drive. They're not used to the way I drive. They're more point break shoot, that type of stuff. But they got used to it very quickly after about half a dozen laps. They got used to how the car goes, and it's a very flowing driving style, which I like. So you're not stopping at any point. You're just driving all the time. Can't say any more than that. Do yourself a favour. I will be getting more of these in soon. It just depends on what happens with the rest of the stuff around the world and times and all that type of stuff. But brilliant. My first foray into four-wheel drive, TCR front-wheel drive, and I cannot rate the kit enough. Out of the box with two changes, and obviously oils and that type of stuff, which you have to do anyway. More to come when I try the other flipper on the rear, see what it does, and that'll be for really low grip. I think that one's going to be better for low grip, so I'll give it a try. And it's only a 10-second job to take them apart, which is really good. But thank you very much for your time. Take it on board that it's an old man driving a car fast, as best as you can. I don't know the lap times from today because I didn't have a transponder in it, but compared it to the other cars on the track, equally as good compared to, say, the speed of the good 17.5s, and they're quick. So I'm guessing 21-second laps, 21 something thereabouts, or they're close. But I'm guessing, obviously, because I didn't have a transponder in it. Thank you for your time. Take care. Good night. It's Sunday. I'm going out to have Mexican in about 2 hours' time. Going to go relax now, have a coffee, tea, coffee, whatever it may be. But I'll keep informed and put all the details online as soon as my details are written down. That's for today and for the next few days coming. Thank you guys for your time. Greatly appreciated. Take care, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Bye for now.